All right, let's turn the ducks off. How's everyone doing this morning? I've been having fun. You guys are having fun. How about the reveals, guys? I mean, honestly, did anybody have I don't know, 40 reveals in the first 24 hours? There was like 10 more cards in the middle of the night. It's insane. Seriously, good morning, everyone. I love doing and talking about card reveals, but I don't like doing it in like the traditional manner that the channel does it. So it just seems so much easier to get on here and yap with you guys about all these cards, because 40 of them, it might be more. I think it's more. I'll be honest. If anyone's been following along on Facebook, there was at least 33 yesterday. Yep. We did see the new. These cards are good. I can't wait to get to them, but there's so many. But I really want to start really quick with the Gamer article, because this was a big debate about how Duel Links were going to work. So it was ultimately decided that Duel Link cards would only be allowed in decks that contain both ink colors. If you were looking to build a deck around Bell Mechanic Extraordinaire, you'll need to build a Ruby Sapphire deck rather than any deck that contains either Ruby or Sapphire. So it is official that we can only use these cards within the ink color that they are allotted. And I think that's important. And shout out to the gamer, Mr. Eric Switzer, for putting this article out there for us and getting the interview with Ryan and Steve. But that was a big conversation of like, hey, how are these going to work? And people thought they were going to maybe allow like tricolor and stuff like that. And it's very clear that they do not. So that's good. Personally, I'm a fan of that. I think that it means they are better tested. It means that there's a lot less likelihood that, you would see kind of like broken things. Could you imagine, we're going to talk about Ink Geyser in a little bit, but if Ink Geyser, you could just play it in like whatever ink combination of Emerald or Sapphire plus a card, might be a little too good. So yeah, I'm pretty grateful for that. We're gonna remove this. We're gonna get this going, because there's a lot. I do mean a lot of cards. So let's take a look at our first set here. Boom. Here's Mr. Hades. So Hades here is for just a little pain, right? 6 cost, uninkable, 4 strength, 6 willpower, 2 lore. And just for a little pain, when you play this character, you may do 2 damage to another chosen character of yours to banish chosen character with cost 3 or less. So this is obviously strictly better Scar, in my humble opinion. But I still don't think this is like a card that Ruby and Sapphire are going to play, right? Yeah, it has 2 lore, but it's strictly worse Medusa, if you ask me. And I mean, let's be honest, that's okay. It's also like strictly worse Lady Tremaine. Ironically, it might do almost the exact as Lady Tremaine with better stats, which is kind of funny to say these days with the amount of like random cards being left on the table and things like that. But it is kind of noticeable. But I do think that in the end, it's just strictly worse Medusa. So I don't think so. It seems fine. You know, I think a lot of Ruby Amethyst players might be upset with some of the Ruby Amethyst cards that have been put out so far, but I'm not crazy about it. I think this card is super mid, and yeah, this along with the other big fat fatty that came out might be just nothing but bulk rare, nonetheless. 1 cost, inkable, Sapphire, Amber Sapphire card, restoring the heart action. Remove up to 3 damage from chosen character or location and draw a card. I have no idea if this card's going to be good. Generally speaking, cards like this in the past have not necessarily been good. Most of the time, when you're dealing with like a location, you're not going to leave damage laying around. So I don't think so. I don't think this is like a card that Amber Sapphire needed or wanted. So I'm not a big fan. The card is beautiful. I'll say that much. I do love a good old Hearted Tafiti here, but yeah, I think that this one's probably not going to be good enough. Funny enough, there's a bunch of cards that were revealed early that I could see end up being the Enchanted of the set, and I could see this card being an Enchanted. I also notable, like seriously, I'm like very, very excited at the idea of dual ink Enchanteds. I'm very curious what they're going to look like because I think that they have a lot of chance to be really cool and really different. And I'm very excited to see, like, as they get revealed, hopefully that they do look awesome. I have high hopes for sure. But yeah, no, I think I'm out on this one. Grand Pavi, I don't think so. I just don't think so. Perla. Nimble Seamstress is a 3-cost inkable emerald character. 3 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore with evasive and support. I don't think that this is what Amber Emerald necessarily need. If this had 2 lore and it was an evasive, it would probably be like cracked. The support, I don't know. Maybe. I don't think so. I don't think this is like a card that you're running home to play Amber Emerald for. Maybe it feels like a necessity if like the metagame goes a certain direction for evasive characters, but the idea that this card comes in play and still just like gets removed by even with the Storm Rage on, and it just instantly gets banished by Elsa. Like, I think there's just like a lot of things that make this card fairly unplayable. So it really needed the 3rd willpower to, I'd say, like, to be competitive. But if you're a Perla fan and you're like, that's cool, you can do that. I just don't think that in particular that we're gonna see too much. Yeah, if it was uninkable, oh boy, like, super unplayable. But I think that this, all in all, this is like slightly understated just for getting the 2nd keyword. A lot of times we kind of talk about like what is really worth a card, and it's actually a conversation I keep having with my wife. We keep having this conversation of like, how do you know it's good? How do you know it's bad? And it's one of those that's really, really hard to explain. And ironically, Dick just recently recorded a video that hasn't gone up on the channel yet, talking about like what he believes is the game design version of how a card is good or bad, and then like making it a little bit more simpler. But it's really difficult to just easily explain it. But when you look at this card, you're like, oh, it has 2 willpower, it costs 3, it gets banished by everything under the sun. Just by default, you can be like, okay, that card's not good. So Hopefully we're going to touch on that probably on Thursday after the card reveal. By the way, Thursday night, 8 p.m., Scott and I will be live revealing our card from the set. So definitely look forward to that. It's a lot of fun. But let's keep going. Too many cards, guys. Too many cards. Can't go on too many tangents. Calhoun. All right. So 6 cost, inkable, Amber Ruby, 5 strength, 5 willpower, 2 lore, shift 4, and back to start positions. Whenever this character challenges another character, you may return a racer character card from your discard to your hand. So first things first, we don't have a shift for this yet, right? Like, we have to assume that set 7 has a shift, and as long as it's, you know, a 3 cost, I think that this card might have some play. You know, shifting this on 4 as a 5/5 with 2 lore, that's not bad at all. Finding the right racers might be interesting, but, you know, like a card like Vanellope, the 4 cost 3/3 with Rush that gives herself evasive, I think that this is like a great card for Vanellope. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little excited for this card. I really like stats, and if I can shift this card comfortably on 4 often, and it be a 6 cost, and you know we can sing cards like a Pirate's Life with this, which is fine, but not like, you know, obviously it's not what it's all about. But I don't know. I think that this card might have some life. If it might be what racers like kind of need it in a way, you know, like racers looking for a way to like reutilize themselves and rebirth themselves. I just think that anytime you have the ability to bring cards back from the discard pile, it's powerful. And this is inkable, and that's like super uncommon for that type of effect. So I don't know. It might be it's like too targeted. Maybe that's not good enough, but this is at least a card. Like when I first read it, I'm like, okay, I could see this having some life. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if we get a Calhoun that makes sense. And maybe, honestly, maybe if you don't, like if racers just turn out to be good enough, and you know, if Amber Ruby is like, you know, obviously we already know all the Amber Ruby cards were racers, and you know the Vanellope's and stuff like that. Majority of them were. If Amber Ruby Duel Links are just going to keep supporting that, then I think that this has like a real chance. So I don't know. I'm kind of hopeful. Maybe I'm wrong. It's okay. At least it's the card that when I read it, I wasn't like, oh, okay, the card's bad. I think the card has some life. 4 cost, uninkable Pascal, Amber Amethyst, 3 strength, 3 willpower, 3 lore, and evasive. We couldn't just be all 3s, right? We couldn't have been 4 of a kind 3s. That's just too good. I don't know. 4 cost, 3/3 is like not the end of the world on the evasive. The 3 lore is there. I can definitely see, you know, the hyper aggro decks wanting this. I can definitely see it being okay. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say, right? Like they already kind of had good cards, you know. I don't even know if Amber Amethyst was even necessarily playing Genie, not the aggro versions. I know, you know, like some of the Amber Amethyst Mufasa decks might enjoy this. You know, they've been coming around a little bit. Nothing like too crazy, not like a high level of a success, but it's been talked about by, you know, a couple of members of the community that I definitely respect. So maybe this is a card that you finds a way as like a 1 of or 2 of in those decks, is like, hey, like if you don't answer me, I'm just 3 lore on a stick. But not too crazy. I do love the art though. I love little swinging Pascal. It's kind of funny. 2 cost. The Troubadour. I don't even know how to say this. The Troubadour, is that it? Or is that what it is? The Troubadour musical narrator. I have no idea where this card's from. Not a clue. If you're a Disney fan, let me know. You can yell at me. It's okay. 1 strength, 3 willpower, resist 1, singer 4, 1 lore. This card is just strictly worse. Ursula, like just strictly worse. People were excited about the resist, but honestly, Ursula's best use is Rapunzel. So yeah, I don't think this card's going to see much play. That's just me. I don't know, unless there's like a real use for more songs on, you know, on turn 3. Like if there's just another 4 cost song that's really necessary, and this is like say your 5th copy of Ursula. I don't think so. I just don't think it's going to be kind of anything at all. I don't know. That's me. Yeah, Ursula is good. I like this. This is a good shout out. Ursula. Not bad, not bad. Bolt. Well, fun fact about Bolt. When this card was revealed, it was clearly revealing enough for everyone to know that it was an Amber Steel card. We all guessed it. Everyone was on it. Touche to everybody for the shout outs on that day. I actually was at PAX Unplugged and I like wasn't a part of the conversation at all, but I know many people kind of were guessing right away that this card was a dual lane card, and they were right. So shout out to them. 5-cost thinkable Amber Steel, 3 strength, 5 willpower, 2 lore with shift 3, and we have some other bolts to look at, and then 2 abilities. Mark of the Power, which is when you play this character, gain 1 lore for each other undamaged character you have in play. And then Bolt Stare, which is just exert this and banish chosen illusion character. I will be absolutely shocked if Bolt Stare is just the like worst added text on a card ever imaginable. Like if we're an Amber Steel, we already have infinite interactions for illusions. So I cannot fathom a world where we're going to exert this bolt to get rid of an illusion. And for those who hasn't seen it yet, illusions have the vanish keyword. There's a card on here that has it. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But I just cannot fathom that world where we're not either singing a whole new world with this card, B, just singing a song with this card, that we're ever going to exert it. So not a huge fan of that keyword or of that like ability whatsoever. Whenever you ready this character, you gain 1 lore for each other undamaged character you have in play. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if it's like particularly good enough. I'm also not crazy about any of the other bolts just yet. So it's tough to say. Shift 3 is always very good though, but it's also strictly worse than Robin Hood. As a 3/6, I think that both of Robin Hood's abilities are better than both of these. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm not crazy about it though. I think it's gonna be a downer. Humble opinions. He's a Tramp. 1-cost inkable Emerald action song. Chosen character gains +1 strength this turn for each character you have in play. So there's definitely a couple characters that love this card, right? Like Pete. I can't remember the name of the Pete in particular, but the one that's the 5-cost inkable 3/4 with ward that gets plus lore and plus strength and stuff like that when you play actions. Like that's a card that I guess might enjoy this. Is it Bad Guy? Pete Bad Guy. Thank you. Shout out. Alice, is another card that loves this. So like this is definitely the potential for a card that those types of decks want it. I don't know that if it like makes those decks any better. I just think that it maybe adds a layer of consistency to them, but I still don't think that they're necessarily going to be like tier 1 or anything like that. I'm not even positive they would be tier 2 because of a card like this. I think it's okay. But yeah, I don't know. Probably a good enough card in limited, that's for sure. +1 strength, like buffing one of your lower cost cards when playing new cards for 1 might be fine. I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. I think it's interesting though for so cheap. The idea that you can kind of just like exert anything on the board to buff something else to get benefit is notable. But in the past, that hasn't really been like that good. So I don't know. Kind of fall short for me. We'll see. Here's the Tramp himself. 2-cost thinkable Emerald character, 1 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore with Hey Pidge. If you have a character named Lady in play, you pay 1 less to play this character. So it could be an Olaf if we have a lady. All right. And then when you play this character, chosen character of yours gets +1 strength this turn for each other character you have in play. So it's just like the song on the character, and it costs 2. It might cost 1. I'm not sold. I'm personally not sold. I don't know. If you're a Lady in the Tramp fan, I'm sure you're going to play this card just because it's Lady in the Tramp. Melissa will find a way to play this card for a couple weeks until she realizes that it's probably not good. Humble opinions. But there's Lady. Everyone's very excited for Lady, right? Thinkable, 1/2, Emerald, obviously, 1 lore, and a Dog's Life. When you have a character named Tramp in play, this character gets +1 lore. So obviously we can do like really fun things with Lady and the Tramp. We can combo it all out, and that's like our opening hand. We're gonna like be an average set of characters. I think that's the worst part, is that, with like with Tramp, like this guy is a 1/3 with 1 lore. If you have the Lady, he gets a 1. So he's an Olaf with like an ability that probably doesn't matter enough. And then this character's slightly above curve for like a cursed merfolk, if you have Tramp. So the two of them together, in my opinion, make one average character. And therefore, I don't think so. I don't think we're gonna be worried about Lady the Tramp meta just yet. Spaghetti Dinner, 2-cost uninkable, Amber item. Exert this for 1, and if you have 2 or more characters in play, gain 1 lore. Guys, they really like spell books. And for what it's worth, I think that it's important that we do have spell books and like alternate ways to gain lore and things like that, but this card doesn't feel good enough. I don't know. It's gotta be worse flutes for sure. Like, you have to pay for it. You also have to have 2 characters in play. I think it's strictly worse than Queen Censor Core also. Like, I would rather just have to play a Queen deck or like play Queens and Princesses and then utilize that as an inkable and then gain other things. So yeah, I don't think so. No spaghetti dinners here. Here's our first little bolt. 2-cost inkable, 1 strength, 3 willpower, steel character, 1 lore, and there's no turning back. Whenever this character requests, if he has no damage, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. So he's a 2-cost Zimba with 1 more willpower. No, we're just competing with way, way too many things at 2 cost, right? I mean, just like all of the steel cards in 2 are already kind of bangers. I just don't see room for this card. Like, you just don't need it in this manner. And I think that like Future King is just like strictly better as a 1 cost than this card will ever be. If Bolt, if the big Floodborn Bolt ends up being like actually good for some reason, then maybe by design you have to play this card. But I don't feel strong about that personally. Not a big fan. Dr. Calico is a 4-cost, inkable, 3 strength, 4 willpower, steel character with 1 lore, and you're beginning to irk me. While this character has no damage, he gains resist 2. Yeah, I mean, this card's just like strictly good in limited, in your draft decks and your sealed decks. This card's going to be just like a 3/6 basically, and that's cool. But I don't see any way that this card is going to be like competitive at all. It's just a generic card that is whatever, and that's cool. Maybe there's some world where 3 willpower is the only thing that matters, and him being a 3/6 is like going to get you 2 and 3 for 1 somehow. I don't think that that's going to be the case, but hey, maybe there's that world. But yeah, at first glance, not too crazy. Our second bolt, 4-cost thinkable, 2 strength, 4 willpower, amber character with 2 lore, and just has support. Yeah, there's another card you're gonna play in limited. We're not gonna see this card in constructed. No chance. Mittens, 5-cost, uninkable, 4 strength, 5 willpower, 2 lore with bodyguard, and no thanks necessary. Once during your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, your other characters with bodyguard gain +1 lore this turn. So we have another one of these inkwell, like put in your inkwell mechanics. And in all honesty, like the majority of these haven't been good enough yet. I think if this card was inkable, it would have like a real shot. I really do. It's just not inkable. But yeah, I don't know. It is interesting. Like there's definitely some bodyguards that would like this. I don't know. This is a weird one. I think that this is a card that'll be worth like exploring a little bit. But in all honesty, it's very tough. Like the 5-cost uninkable is weird. Like this awkward only bodyguard deck might be kind of weird. Um, yeah, man, I wish this card was inkable. If this card was inkable, I think it would see a lot of play. I think being a 4/5 inkable for 5 with bodyguard and 2 lore, and then this like weird consistent ability. Yeah, and the other thing is, what is the deal? And I get it, and sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But like, man, why is it always your other characters? Like, why can't these ink abilities just let you have it? You know, like just let me have it. Let me have the ability. Nope, can't do it. So I don't know. It's probably just too much. It's probably like too many negatives on this card for it to actually be competitive. But if it were inkable, it would have been a lot closer, I think. Toodaloo. It's a 1-cost 1/3 Sapphire character with 1 lore. It's Sapphire Olaf, and we already have like a Sapphire Olaf. I don't know. Stats are good. Maybe they're important enough. Gets completely murdered by Calhoun. Calhoun does that to basically everything. So I don't know. Maybe it's just not good enough. Maybe it's just not good enough. Do I have to read the flavor text? Okay. He squeezed more point from the tube and wiggled in delight. Arcasia was fun, even if she was a giant owl. She had so many new colors to point with. Is that it? Is that what we wanted? Are you happy? Yeah. Point? Is it cute? Are we pointing at the ability of the art of it, of this like being Amber Sapphire? Is that what we're, or is it hidden? Is this a hidden Mickey technically, right? This little the little 2 ears and then the thing. This is a hidden Mickey right here. It is cute. I mean, I gotta hate a little bit. He reminds me of Garfield in a big way. You know? I don't know. Is what it is, guys. Yeah. 5-cost inkable 6/5 ruby character with 1 lore, Edgar Balthazar. Strictly unplayable. You'll play it in your sealed decks, and I guess you'll be happy about having stats on turn 5. That's all we're going to get from this guy. Marie, 2-cost inkable Sapphire character, 1 strength, 2 willpower, 2 lore, and the ability I'll show you. Whenever this character quests, you may give chosen character -2 strength this turn. I don't think so. I don't think we're going to utilize this character much. But hey, you know, she looks sassy, right? I'd say she looks sassy. I don't actually. I guess that's an Illuminator. I have no idea. It might be a character from the show. I believe these are the aristocrats, right? You guys can totally roast me if I'm wrong. I don't know anything about these movies or these shows. So, I mean, good for blue aggro. Like, is that true? Like, don't we already have 2/2s with 2 lore? You know, like if the -2 strength lasts it through the turn, then like maybe it could protect itself, but it's just this turn. So it's not like on your opponent's turn. So since you don't have like if that was when this quest like -2 to a dude like through the turn, I think that this card would be very good. I think you would probably play it. But I don't think that this is better than like other 2-cost characters we already have. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, questing Ice Block might like maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's hard to say. I don't think so. You don't necessarily have room for that, like at like a one turn Ice Block. You know, like Ice Block is good because it sits in play and you can just use it for whenever. This effect, you're going to do it once and then she's just going to be gone. So I don't know if that's like actually worth a spot in your deck at all. That's kind of where I'm at. But I do love the sass. She looks very sassy. 2-cost Duchess, Emerald character, 3 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore. That's it. Yep. We're not going to play this one in competitive. 2 cost 3/2 though is notable. There are others. I think this is the second one in the game now, if I remember correctly. So, if Bonsai is a problem for being uninkable, having a 3/2 is relevant, I guess. But I don't think so. I think you kind of just need to have an ability these days or be like overstat it. The fact that your 2 cost here can't probably ever get a 2-for-1, likely not going to be good enough. But yeah, if everyone just loves cats and dogs, then they're going to love this set because there's nothing but them so far. As we move on to another one. 3 cost inkable emerald character. Man, I don't know how to say this name either. Belraz? That's a total guess. 2 strength, 5 willpower, 5 lore. Look what I found. Can we stay here and play? I like it. That's clever. But yeah, this card's obviously unplayable. Like maybe in some world where we need like awesome Rapunzel and like our opponent's just gonna let us have it all the time, we'll be excited to have a Rapunzel target or something. I don't know. I highly doubt it. So yeah, just more cards for the binder. 3 cost, inkable, 4 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore. With Ward, Mr. Thomas O'Malley. I like Ward a bunch, but this card's just like strictly worse than Prince Philip, right? Like he just has 2 willpower, or he has like 2 lore on him, and he's Ward, and that's kind of what we want to do with our Ward. I don't know that we're gonna need like a Ward at 4 character, so yeah, I'm out on Mr. O'Malley. Not a fan. Oh, all right. Well, we got to the good cards. I'm gonna just leave them on screen. I'm gonna take a drink of coffee real quick. How do we feel about Cobra, guys? Huh? How do we feel? Oh man, Cobra's. Whew, oh boy. So story time, right? Because it's fun. We're streaming. We're having fun. And I was on my plane home yesterday from SSG. By the way, shout out to SSG. They were awesome. I had a lot of fun. Everybody there was great. All the conversations were great. And when I landed on my plane home in Philly, by the way, go Birds. This was the first card I read. Giant Cobra, 3 cost thinkable, 4 strength, 4 willpower, amethyst steel character with the ability Vanish, which is when an opponent chooses this character for an action, banish them. All right. And when you play this character, you may choose and discard a card to gain 2 lore. Oh, man. The amount of times that I have drawn a dock in my Amethyst Steel decks when I already had a dock in my hand, and like the sadness that comes from that is just like, this card makes me feel so good about it now. I think on average, Amethyst Steel's like best hands have dock on turn 5. So generally speaking, on turn 5, you want to play a 3 and a 2, like whether it's Lawrence, whether it's Pete, whether it's White Roses, crap, whatever it is, you always wanted to play a 3 on average. So you were kind of giving yourself 5, maybe 6 draws off the top part of your deck while you have a dock in your hand. So because of that, it's a little weird. You have like these moments where like, oh, this can be really punishing. If I draw my second dock, I don't want to necessarily do that. Now you have like this weird coverage for it. And that's just really good. So yeah, any world, and I get it. I think Vanish is going to be, I said this on the podcast a few weeks ago. I think Vanish is going to be like a weird card in the meta, or like a weird ability in the meta that might convince us to build decks differently. Like not a lot of decks aside from Steel Song just have targeted like cards in their deck that would affect this. Like again, we can't just play Brawl and target Giant Cobra. You can't do that. Like it's not a legal target. So if all of a sudden we're going to play cards, like Heffalumps is a really good example. Heffalumps is a card that we play in the Baja Blast deck So that would be like, all right, we're gonna, we're gonna Heffalump your Cobra. I'm gonna draw a card, effect triggers, and you banish him. Banishing a card with Heffalumps is awesome. If that's like the best of all worlds, you get to banish a card and draw a card. That's a 2-cost inkable. That's like insane. So while there are some perks to it, I think that this is a prime example of how Vanish should work. This is a card that it comes into play, it gets an effect right away. And then on top of that, it's overstated for its cost. I mean, guys, Lawrence is a 3-cost 4/4, but it has a negative ability that once it's damaged, it becomes an 0/4 or an 0 whatever it has damage on. This card is just saying, like, if you don't have an action, I'm just an overstatic character, and at the very least, I'm going to like banish something with it, and it's going to live another turn, or I'm just going to gain another lore. That means for 3, I gained 3 lore potentially, and I'm still here. So, yeah, I love this card, 100%. Auto include in dock for me without a shadow of a doubt. So I think this card's gonna be very, very good. And again, like, even in a world where somehow every deck starts playing 1-cost inkable actions or songs that can target these things, at least it says, like, you have to play those cards, which are not, like, they're not good in a world that these cards don't exist. So I think there's like a real cost for it, And then shout out to Nate hanging out with us, by the way. TFM Nate hanging out in Discord. We haven't seen Nate in a while. He had a kid. Shout out, happy, hope everyone's doing well. Even if they do target it with an action, it is still a 1-for-1. It's not like you're getting 2-for-1 here, So it's still like, hey, they still have to play the card, which is still effectively removing the card. It might not, obviously, like, again, if we turn Heffalumps into Dragonfire for 2 that draws a card, yeah, it seems actually insane. But it is, at the end of the day, like, on average, still 1-for-1. So I don't know. I think Cobra's bananas. Yeah, very, very good. Well, back to Vanish. 2-cost, inkable, 3 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore. Raj, the Ghostly Tiger. This is just stats with on a 3/3 with Vanish. So, pretty much, I mean, anybody here can correct me if I'm wrong. But all of the 3/3 for 2s have like some type of setback, right? So Smee, obviously, probably the best one on average. The 3 costs, 2 cost 3/3 with 2 lore that just takes damage conditionally if you don't have a captain. Snake is a 2-cost 3/3 that you like requires you to return a card to your hand. So this is just a 2-cost 3/3 that has Vanish. I would have loved to seen this in any other ink combination just to have another 3/3 option for other ink combinations. But yeah, kind of just is what it is, right? I don't know. This one's tough. I don't think, I think because of what it's competing with, like, again, like if we're playing illusions, because this is another illusion, and we're in Amethyst Steel, then there has to be a really good reason to play illusions over a card like Smee or over a card like Snake or Calhoun. So this one I don't think is nearly as good as Cobra, but it is just a 2-cost 3/3, which is notable. Oh boy. All right. What's everyone's feelings on Ink Geyser? Take another drink of coffee here while we react to this card. Oh my god. As you can see, a lot of these cards don't have comments on the photos. By the way, all of this, if you're on YouTube, the description of the YouTube video is a link to our Facebook, which has posted every card so far. You just want to go and read through them yourself. And this one has lots of comments and reactions, specifically on this post. I'm going out of the album. Yesterday, I create an album of the 32 cards, and this is kind of where we at it. But I think this one's so interesting. I really do. Okay. All right. So Ink Geyser, right? 3 costs, uninkable, action, Emerald Sapphire. Each player exerts all cards in their inkwell. Then each player with more than 3 cards in their inkwell returns cards at random from their inkwell to their hand until they have 3 cards left in their inkwell. All right. So I know not everyone here has played other card games that have to deal with like resources to this extent. But I have to just go to like in Magic the Gathering, there was things that like were considered land destruction. And they were very unfun to play with. For me, like back in the day, one of the cards I remember mostly is a card called Plow Under. And what Plow Under was a 5-cost card that took 2 resources from your opponent and put it back on your opponent's deck. And it was backbreaking in most cases to say, I'm already on 5, and if you were on 3, you're now on 1. So this card just being able to take away the end game from players is kind of massive. You know, and there's a lot of ways that I think that we can talk about this card, in all honesty. Like, there's a lot of them. But the most common way we might see this played is that this could be the Emerald Sapphire, like, Pete, if that makes sense. But it's, in theory, better than Pete because it'll always remove your opponent, you know, from playing Medusas, playing Sisus, playing Lady Tremaines, playing Be Prepared. You know, like, it can remove your opponent in some ways from playing Grab Your Swords. Like, so the idea that you can just take away Control's endgame entirely, and you can kind of just punish them for playing cards, you know, like Tipo, like Stal the Azurite Sea, and just like throw them back in their hand and say, hey, like you're back on 3 with me. You know, like we're gonna stay here, and I can probably do more with 3 resources than you can do with 3 resources. So I think that is in itself, it's built around. In itself, it might create a new archetype that we just have not really seen. So whenever you get a card like this, it's understandable for people to be like, oh, okay, like this is something to really talk about. But yeah, I think that this card, at first glance, you have, I don't even know, guys, like 2, 3, 4 ways to kind of like work with this card. This is a card that makes Oswald really like potentially insane again. You know, the idea that we can just set up a Fishbone Quill, set up an Oswald, and then just like ink and play Ink Geyser, put items into play for free, put cards back in our hand, which gives us more fuel for Oswald. Like, we can do things like that. We can play cards like Prince Sean's Mirror that people were talking about. You can set up those lines. You can set up shift lines early. You know, like we could have an early 1-cost King Candy, get a bigger King Candy into play. So we have like a 5-cost card that we can, you know, sing and do stuff with. And then we can just be like, yeah, then we'll just Ink Geyser, we'll set back, and we'll be like ahead on curve that way. Cards like Friend Like Me might finally see a little bit of weird play. You know, like you might just be able to like put 3 ink into play and then just go, nope, we're going to Ink Geyser, put everything back in our hand, Prince Sean Mirror you, take your whole hand away. If we can get Clarabell into play faster, that could be a really big deal too, because you can just be like, all right, well, Ink Geyser, generally speaking, I think all Ink Geyser decks, this is going to be the card that brings back Fishbone Quill, in my humble opinion, just because I think that if you're going to be playing Ink Geyser, you're going to want to be playing 2 ink ahead, like 2 ink a turn to like stay ahead of your opponent the whole time. So I think that like that's a realistic thing to do. Cards like Bend to My Will, you know, there's going to be a lot of ways, I think, to like genuinely break this card. Thankfully, you know, we don't have a way to what we called it in Magic was float. You know, we don't have a way to float resources in Magic, you know, because this card like particularly says that you have to exert everything. In Magic, you could have been like, all right, I will exert 10 ink, or yeah, like 10 resources, and we'll just say there's 10 resources just floating around, and then I'll play Ink Geyser, which picks everything up, and then you'd still have 7 to play with. We can't do that. That would make this card actually bananas. But yeah, I think the core takeaway to this one is that it is worth the conversation. And I think that we're going to see a lot of that in the next few weeks. The idea that we got this basically on day 1 of reveals is kind of crazy, because I think it's going to enable all the crazy deck builders to just start right now. And by the time we even get to opening packs of Archaea's Island, this might already like have found a home. Yeah. And like Colby, huge fan of this card. So Colby is already all about this card. And yeah, I don't know. I'm worried. I'm actually worried. This is the first card. I think when we talk about MPE, and for those of you who don't know, it means negative play experience. This is the type of card that absolutely could be negative play experience. So if someone breaks it, if someone finds a way to make this card like really that good, then yeah, I think it's going to be a problem. We'll see. Well, let's hope. Let's hope it's not a problem. Let's hope it's just like a fringe tier 2 deck, and it's not the end of the world, and we have enough answers. But yeah, this one's good, guys. It's definitely worth the conversation. Oh, let's talk about Lady Kluck. I love Lady Kluck. I think this might be Dick Burns' favorite card. What do you guys think? What do you think? Coffee's good. Good coffee this morning. Anyone else enjoying coffee? So 5 cost thinkable, 2 strength, 7 willpower, 1 lore, Sapphire Steel character with bodyguard and ward. Yes, this is true. So yeah, Sapphire Steel has recently had the Kiwi deck that's come out that's a bit aggressive, and it has like Plutos in it and stuff like that. So this is a card that I look at and I go, man, 7 willpower on a card with ward. Hello. Yeah, even like just Singer, right? Like if we're just playing a whole new world decks, like this is similar to Cogsworth, but 7 willpower and has ward itself, or a ward on top. Like, so yeah, it might not have a resist or anything like that, but like 7 willpower is so much. The 2 strength doesn't matter, can't be brawled, who cares? Can't be targeted with muses, so you can't bounce it back. If Under the Sea comes around, then yeah, sure, that answers it. That's kind of like whatever. But bodyguard, 7 willpower, ward, that's going to protect a lot of your cards really, really well. And it's going to remove a lot of the issues that really mess with it. So I really like this card. I also, if you saw it in the thumbnail, if you're on YouTube, I love the like the chest out action. I think it's so funny. Like she's ready to go. She's ready to box, and I love the art on this card. I think it's just hysterical. All right, so this guy was included because he was kind of like re-revealed yesterday. We talked about this card. It's terrible. If you missed it somehow, somehow if we missed this, it's a 6 cost, uninkable, 5 strength, 5 willpower, 2 lore, Ruby Sapphire character with the ability. I've got it. Pay 2 to exert this and banish 2 of your items. Deal 5 damage chosen character. The card is absolutely unplayable. It's awful, and yeah, I just don't see it. We're not going to play this card. All right, so Ruby Steel. I think this was the first Ruby Steel card we've seen. I'm not sure if there's been another one yet. And if anything has come out during the stream, hopefully Scott yells at me and I'll make sure I get it before I sign off here, because we do know there's a North American card coming out at 11. So I do plan on still being on at 11, and then we'll take a look at that card too. But I'm pretty confident at 11, Humble on Instagram and Twitter is going to have a card. So I plan to be here for that. But Oh, I got them. We got the legendaries. We'll talk about them too. Don't worry. 3 cost, Inkable, 3 strength, 2 willpower, Ruby Sapphire character with Reckless and Resist 2. So effectively, Denahi here is a 3/4, but like probably a little bit better than that on average. I don't know. No, we are not getting an early reveal from me. My reveal is coming Thursday at 8 p.m. with Scott Landis live on YouTube. We'll be hanging out on YouTube and Twitch. I don't know. This card's probably not good enough. I also like, let's just talk about Ruby Steel in general, right? So if we just talk about Ruby Steel and like, what does Ruby Steel need to be good? Ironically, we saw a top 8 of Ruby Steel over the weekend at SHG in the 71 player 5K event. And it was, a Maui Shark Fan the Flames deck. Hysterical. Got the top 8. It was really fun to watch on stream a couple games. But I don't like, this card is not like, oh my god, like I want to go play Ruby Steel, right? So if this card is not, oh my god, I want to go play Ruby Steel, then like I probably am not playing this card. So like therefore by default, it's not good enough if any of those things make sense. So yeah, I don't know. This card needs some love, or it just needs we need like the rest of the Rust cards to give us a reason to play Rust cards, And I don't know if this is like, oh man, I want to play. I don't know. So I think that's where it is. Like right now, even if this was just a Steel card, like maybe it would see play. If it was just a Ruby card, like maybe it would see play. But if it locks me in to Ruby Steel, then I don't know. Like I just don't know because like it's too unknown and we just don't really know like the identity of Ruby Steel outside of the crazy Fan the Flame Maui Shark deck. So yeah, I don't know. Hard to say. Mr. Smee. 3 cost, uninkable, 3 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore, emerald steel character with Pipe Up the Crew. Whenever you play an action that isn't a song, you may ready chosen pirate character. Okay. Maybe. So it is like a you came back, right? So the character you can ready, you can quest with again. So, if we can make Emerald Steel John Silver a thing, I don't think you can. Maybe you can. I'm sure someone will try. That's kind of where I would start with this card, I guess, is I would start with John Silver and locations and like just gain a bunch of lore. For what it's worth, like it seems kind of silly, right? But like just for a 2 lore on 2. I don't know. But what actions are we playing? Right? Like so it is Fire the Cannons, right? It is Smash. Is that good enough? This does ready Piglet. Oh no, you can't ready Piglet because Piglet is Amber card. That doesn't work, guys. Don't listen to me. I don't know. Like maybe I'm sure there's going to be like a fun theme deck to do with pirates, and this card's going to be fun with it. We did now for what it's worth. I kind of complained in the thumbs up or thumbs down video for Azerite C that the pirates were all over the place, and at least this is giving me direction. At least this is giving me directions to be like, okay, Emerald Steel Pirates is where I should be, because they're like, here it is. Here's what it looks like. So maybe there's a world where this is like a good thing, and we just need some more cards that make sense to kind of play with it. I don't know. We'll have to see. Interesting though. Anytime you have a card that readies a card that lets it quest again, it's at least a look at it. But most of the times in the past, all of those cards have not been good enough. So there's also that. I don't know what happened with Yokai, guys, but Yokai's a 2 cost inkable, 1 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore, emerald sapphire character with the ability Innovate. You may pay 1 less to play characters using their shift ability. Why couldn't this card just cost 1? Is 1 too good? I guess that's the question, right? Like, is a 1 cost 1/2 with this ability too good? I don't know. I don't know that it's too good. It's strictly being locked in an ink combination, you know? I don't know. I think this guy is not good enough. I don't think this guy's going to see much play at all, personally. But I don't know. I think at least it gives us some real incentive to do some tricks and stuff. But I don't know. Not a fan. I bet you this is the type of card, though, that has real opportunity to look like an awesome foil. Like, if they do this right, if the cold foil comes out on this and, like, this is all, like, spread apart and different, man, I think this would be good. Right. Right. Yeah. That's kind of the problem, right? Like, we are just locked into these, which could just be a problem. It's tough. I don't know. Mufasa. 7 cost, inkable, 5 strength, 7 willpower, amethyst steel character with 2 lore, shift 5, evasive, and resist 1. I'll be honest. I literally don't know. Do we have Mufasas that are amethyst and steel already? I actually have no idea. Does this like actually have a shift ability? I guess I'll go look. There is none. There's none. Okay. Thanks for saving me the time. There's a, but it costs 6, right? The steel Mufasa costs like $1 million. There's nothing cheap, right? Weird card. Yeah. That's fair. I don't know. Big guy, 5'7", a 5'7" for 5 with evasive and resist 1. That has like good stats. I don't know. I guess I want to compare this to the Tinkerbell from Azurite Sea, like the Fairy Lord Tinkerbell. That card, it got some love opening weekend at SSG, but aside from that, it didn't really go anywhere. This card feels a lot like that Tinkerbell. Like, maybe I tell you what, in the common and uncommon only format that I refuse to call by the name that the community does because I don't like it. This card probably might see something if there is a card that it shifts onto, I would say. But yeah, limited, this card's probably great. I think this is like an okay card in limited. And if you're the type of person that don't believe in 7 cost and limited, I need to get you signed up for a day with David Nunez. No Vasa denied. Yeah, I don't know. This is another one though. It's funny. The art to me, I don't know why, but like it screams like Dumbo to me. Like he looks like I know that he's not, but it looks like he's like flying through the clouds here, but I know it's just like really good dust and stuff like that coming up as him running. But I don't know. I love the art here. This is a card that would not shock me if it ends up being one of the uncommon enchanteds personally. So yeah, this is where I'm at. I think it's very hard to decide if this card is remotely close. Constellation, yeah, I couldn't think of the damn word. It is a mentor too, if that comes up relevant. King, like it has the keywords that haven't got a whole lot of love. So like there's a lot of things on here that gives it a potential, but like with the information we have right now, it's so hard to say if it's good enough. Oh, there's our Cusco. This is a good card, right? I don't know. 4 cost, uninkable, Emerald Amethyst character, 2 strength, 2 willpower, 2 lore with evasive. At the start of your turn, choose 1. Each player draws a card, or each player chooses and discards a card. Huh. I mean, instantly banished to Elsa. Not great. It obviously gets banished by Brawl. It's uninkable. It's fighting for rabbits and genie spots. There's a lot of negatives about this card. In multiplayer, right? I know we're not crazy multiplayer people here. I actually enjoy multiplayer in Disney Arcana, but in multiplayer, this card's awesome. I just think that, yeah, I think that the 4-cost spot for Amethyst is so clogged that I can't fathom that this is the card that's gonna like break it. I don't think you're not replacing Goat, you're not replacing Rabbit, you're not replacing Genie. Like not like this to me doesn't feel like it's better than any of those cards. So if it's not better than any of those cards, then by design, it's probably not good enough. If it was a 3-cost 2/2 with evasive and 2 lore and these abilities, it likely would have a little bit more love. It would also survive another turn, past like before we just get straight into Elsa turns. But at 4, if you overpay for 4 and you put this card into play against Amber Steel and they're like, yeah, whatever, let the Storm Rage on, move on. This card just never ever does anything, and it was a 4-cost uninkable that was like stuck in your deck. So for all those reasons, I don't think it's going to be good enough. But I love the ability. I love like the ability in general. I love cards that have choices. Very similar to Anna from Shimmering Skies. Like I like that she has like those abilities of saying, hey, like I can do any of these things when I want to. On my turn, if you do one tap with this card, you're like, okay, what do I need more? What's more important? Do I need to draw an extra card this turn? Or do I need my opponent to discard a card this turn? So I like that we have choice. I like that we have options. But I just think that it's really competing with a lot of cards that are just strictly better. No, I don't think it's weird that you also have to discard. I think that that's like okay. I think I don't. Let's be honest. I don't know that if you didn't have to discard a card, it would be worse. Like or it would be better. Like because clearly it would be better, but I still don't think that if it read it that way that it would make you play it that much more. I don't know that. Like I still think the 2/2 line is too weak, and it needed to like, at the minimum be a 2/3. So it just wasn't strictly banished by so many cards in the metagame. Do you have to have a card in hand to use the effect? I think I think it goes to the ruling question. And I think that it's weird. If there's actually a judge in the chat, I'll take the judge because I might be wrong on this. I believe that this effect happens before you draw the card, if I'm correct. If we're just using Lilo as the example, how we have to put Lilo into play before we draw the card, we might have to make the decision for this card before we draw our card. So like if we do not have a card in our hand when that decision goes on, then we'll take it. So I think that that's how it works. I believe it's before you draw the card, much like Lilo, where you have to make a choice to put her back in play. Then maybe. But I am definitely not the rules guy for what it's worth. I normally will defer for sure. But I think that just because of the way Lilo's worded, if I remember correctly, and the way this is worded, I think that that's what it is. So yeah, I do think I have a feeling it's before you draw. So therefore, if you are hellbent and you go, my opponent discards a card, great. But let's be honest, if we don't have any cards in our hand, maybe we want to just draw 2 cards. So like, I guess it's hard to say. But yeah, that is a good rules question that can definitely be brought up. I'll if I don't find out, or if no one for sure knows, then I'll do my best to get an answer. We talked about spend. I think that was it. All right, so that was the first 32 cards that were revealed yesterday. Now we scroll up. So there's some new cards. Well, actually, we'll go back down because this one came out. I didn't add it to the album yet because it wasn't like we don't have the full card yet. I don't know if we ever figured out where this came from. We're not sure if this card was leaked or not yet. Unfortunately. Talk about this is a big girl, guys. 10 cost inkable. Taka, Ruby Amethyst character, 12 strength, 12 willpower, 3 lore, shift 7, and the ability Ancient Rage. During your turn, whenever an opposing character is exerted, banish them. That would be pretty awesome for sure. So yeah, if there's a world where we can play Taka, I don't know that there is, right? But if there is a world that you can play her, the obvious cards are, Pinocchio, Lose the Way, and I can't remember if it's Shimmering Skies or Azurite Sea, but the Ana that comes into play and exert stuff, like, or is it when she quests, she exerts stuff? Elsa, like, obviously there's tools to utilize this card to just read, like, hey, banish them. But the problem is that you got to get to 10 ink to play this card. As we know right now, there is no Taka that we're shifting on, like, at all. So the when you ink exert, okay. Is that the Ruby card? Right? No, what card is that? Is there an Amethyst card that does that? I don't even know. 7-drop exert all characters, right? Ruby Sapphire from chapter 1. Okay. Ruby super rare from chapter 1. Peter Pan. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So there's lots of stuff that does it. It's really just a matter of, Ruby Amethyst stopped playing Maleficent like a while ago. Now all of a sudden you're gonna convince me that I'm gonna have a 10 cost in my deck. I don't know, guys. I don't know. And I'm not hating because I'd like to see it because this thing is kind of awesome. And it's so big, it's so beefy. But I don't know. I don't think there's going to be room. I think it's just out of reach. If this was the Ruby Sapphire card, then yeah, I think you certainly would see it. I don't know that it would make any sense. But there would have to be like a very, very good to shift onto. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the card becomes meta, and then the Moana that has never seen the light of day ever becomes meta. Love it. Love to see it. There's already a check for it, guys. Okay. So now let's get into the stuff that was revealed today. So this is the Devil's Eye Diamond. If one of your characters was damaged this turn, game 1 lore. This came from Mojo Nation. I'm not exactly sure what that is. I think this is a web page. I woke up and saw a bunch of these were spoiled, and Scott did all the work. So shout out to Scott for doing the work. I don't know. For me, I don't think this card's very good. I think that like the Challenge Matters deck cares about this card, but that deck has so many issues that I just don't know that this card's good. Okay, cool. There's more. There we go. So Scott just confirmed. So thanks, Scott. There's more new cards coming. Should we just go to them? Should we see? Because everyone's seen these cards, right? We'll scroll back down. Let's see. Do we have to reload the page? What do we got? Oh, what does this do? So I'll make it big in a second because I gotta read it first. King of Hearts, Picky Rulers, a 4-cost Emerald character with 3 strength, 3 willpower, 2 lore, and the ability of Illegal Condition. Damaged characters cannot challenge your characters. Okay. Huh. Damaged characters cannot challenge your characters. I don't know. This one's interesting. This one, I'm not exactly sure how to feel about this card. It has the right, like, it has okay stats. Shark, yeah, well, that's nice. It does turn off Shark. That's cool. This card's hard to judge. I like this card though. It my like actual live reaction to the card is I like this card. I think it could create some like really annoying moments for your opponents. So yeah, I think King of Hearts here, there might be something there. All right. Do we want to talk about these guys? Is it going to make you happy if we talk about the sweet legendaries? We have legendaries, guys. If you guys haven't seen these yet, they're pretty good. I actually like both of these cards. So Scrooge McDuck is a 4-cost inkable, 4 strength, 4 willpower, Sapphire legendary character with 1 lore and 2 abilities. The first is Put It to Good Use. Love the name. You may exert 4 items of yours to play this character for free. Okay, so before I go to the next one, that's a really cool ability. You know, a lot of the characters that we've had in the game so far that have like this play it for free, like LeFou. Shout out to Ryan Miles, loves it. They haven't really been successful, but this one feels like you're in control of it kind of the whole time. You know, like popsicles and ice blocks and, you know, like whatever the hell else that we want to just randomly put in play, Vitalospheres, like things like that. You can play a deck that just has items that are just laying a workshop as an example. Like I do believe that this is like the perfect workshop card. I think this card might be better than the 3-cost Queen, if that makes sense. The legendary from a few sets ago that I think it was Shimmering Skies that came out. Maybe it was Ursula's Return. I think it was maybe Ursula's Return, if I remember correctly. But the one that is the 3-cost 3/3 that you exert or reveal the top card of your deck, put a card, an ink, or an item in play, exert it. I think that this card might just be strictly better than that card, but they also work together. So maybe you play them both. But all in all, I think that this is a really good workshop card because it helps you get a character in play for free, and the 4/4 stats are just good. And then on top of that, it has Fortune Hunter, which when you play this character, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, you may reveal an item card, put it in your hand, and then the rest on the bottom. So like not only is it a 4/4 body that you could potentially play for free, it also keeps your engine going. It lets you find another item. This card seems great. I don't know, right? Like in this meta, right? In the very current meta, maybe, right? It's totally possible. But then the other thing you can think about too of this is like this card with Be Prepared. Like, all right, I can just like ramp out, play my extra items, get them into play Be Prepared, and then tap 4 items, put Scrooge into play, and have a body in play on the same turn I play Be Prepared. So like it's like one of those that like you don't need this necessarily even on turn 4. This could just be a card that like through the game just end up like getting for free at some point. And it's not that much of a damper. And when in doubt, if this is just the card that you play on turn 3, right? Like if this is just like Tipo on 2 or as like Sail on 2, and then on turn 4, I'm just putting a 4/4 into play with the ability to find a card. It's very similar to Grandma in a way. Like obviously we got to play more items, so it's not strictly Grandma where you get to choose anything, but it's also a 4/4. I think it's good. I think that at the very least, it's going to give you another avenue of deck construction. And I think that the Azurite Sea did a very good job of that. We've seen this over and over again the last couple of weeks now, or like honestly, through the last meta game where you went from just having Amber Steel songs to having Amber Steel aggro in different versions with or without mines. You saw, you know, Amber Steel Dock tree transform into Amber Steel mid range, but Amber Steel Dock is still successful. We saw Ruby Sapphire go from super mega control with Sisus and Be Prepared to like a deck that won a DLC with no Sisus. Like, so this is just adding on to the layers, I think, here with Arceus Island that we're going to have choice. And I think that that's a big deal. I also think, like, you know, we're going to talk about here, like in Sapphire Steel, this is another card that you just have 8 1-cost cards in your deck that are inkable draw spells. So yeah, even in a world where like we say we need another good item in Sapphire that like to make the best of this card, you know, we got a whole set. Maybe we get one. So I don't know. I'm very excited for the card, but I'm also excited for the next card. So let's talk about the big crab because this card's really good too. So 6-cost inkable Sapphire legendary Tamatoa 4 strength, 5 willpower, 2 lore. Coolest collection. When you play this character, return up to 2 item cards from your discard to your hand. And then, I'm Beautiful Baby. Whenever this character quests, you may play an item for free. I mean, guys, like for free. Like, just, this is a 4/5. All right, you know, right now, all the steel decks are playing Along Came Zeus again. We got to be weary of that, right? So there is that. But if they don't have it, you just get to go, okay, I'm going to play this on 6, or let's be honest, I'm going to play it on like 4 or 5. We're seeing Sapphire decks playing Shark on 4 right now. So like, this is a card that, like, I don't know that you necessarily are going to play it on 4 because you might not get the full effect. But let's be honest, even if we just play it on 4 and then on turn 5 we get to like quest and then put some giant thing into play, kind of cool. But I just love the idea that, like, this card is, it embodies the 8 cost very well. Like, it's so similar to the bigger guy, right? Oh yeah. This morning, bro, I got my 4D23s like a million years ago. You're missing out. But yeah, I do think that Oswald got some love here as well. Believe it or not. I want to say, where are we at here? We got Ruby, Steel, Sapphire players eating well today. Shout out to DKP hanging out in chat. We got some friends today. This crap seems great. I just think I love the idea that on play, no matter what, on play we're getting 2 cards back. That's a big deal. So, you know, obviously getting Popsicles back, great. You know, we were playing. This also gives a little bit more effort to some of the more conditional items that people kind of like poison up, come out of the well here every now and then. Like, we played Poison Apple as a card that can pick this back up. You know, if your item gets cracked by Benja or like a cow, you know, like there's ways to now just pick them back up, which is great. It's also like, hey, if my game plan went to plan and I just like cracked 2 items with if I cracked 2 popsicles with Hiram, I can just play the crab and just pick them right back up and just like keep my game going and just always keep my hand healthy. I think that's really good. And then, yeah, the idea that this guy just quests and says, I can put any item I want into play for free, and it's not even exerted. Like, the idea that you can just like quest and slam dime and use dime for just 2, the amount of resources gained on that play is just a lot. It's just a lot. It's a lot. Card's good. I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's fun. I think that the crab might look like the more appealing one, but I am honestly more excited for the duck. I love this idea of exerting items to play character for free. I'm really hopeful, and I don't know, like, he's a legendary, right? Normally legendaries have unique abilities, so like maybe we are not going to see another ability like this, but I kind of wish that this was something we would see more of. I really like this idea of exerting items and using them for alternate resources, very similar to how Amber has singers. Like, that's kind of how I'm looking at this. Like, this is just like items all of a sudden become resources that by extension can let you play characters. And I think that that's like a really cool mechanic to explore. So I'm a bit upset that this is on a legendary, because it probably means we won't see any more of it. And I think it would have been really, really cool, just as like by design. But then again, you know, maybe it's too powerful. If there was a bunch of cards that all had this ability, like maybe it's just too good. I don't know. But I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's good. I think both these cards are good. I think that for legendaries, for Sapphire, you know, these are the only 2 we're going to get. I think they're good. I think they're not bad at all. So we can be happy about that. This is Panic. So Panic is a 4-cost inkable, 2 strength, 3 willpower, 2 lore. This was found on the French Twitter account. And the legendaries were found on IGN, by the way. It was funny. I actually didn't know that, but when I saw the image, I just knew that it was IGN. And I was like, oh, I'll just type in IGN in Google and I'll go find it real quick. And it worked. So Amethyst Panic, 4 costs, 2/3. 2 lore with the ability Scry Cry. When you play this character, move up to 2 damage counters from chosen character to chosen opposing character. So yeah, it's just a common bell. Huh. This card seems fine. I don't think that it's like super competitive playable or anything like that, but in limited, this card's great. Seems very good. Seems very powerful. Enables like the correct trades and then kind of just like when you're ahead, get really far ahead. So yeah, I think this card will be fine in limited. I don't think you're going to see it anywhere else. Again, it's an Amethyst card that costs 4 that is certainly not better than most cards. So, you know. Yeah, so, okay, Wonder. I talked about this earlier, all right? And just because Wonder's here now, right? Like, I hate that name. I don't like Porkana. I love restrictive formats that enable us to like deck build creatively. But I really do not like this name. We need a new name. We need to take it back. I don't know what it is, but it's just right now. We want to rename it right now. I'm up for it. The number one thing I heard in the past that I really liked was Street Rat, but people didn't seem to like that one either. But like, if there is someone in chat that does not like the name Porkana, like me, and like Wonder, we got the Wizard here, guys. All right, he agrees. He doesn't like the name. All right, it's proof. Street Rat, yeah. See, someone else called it Street Rat. See, Street Rat. I think it's better. I think it's definitely better than Porkana. I don't know that it has to be the answer. This is hurtful. Why is it got to be like that, AJ? It's hurtful. It's hurtful. Yeah, that's fine. I like the name Street Rat, but I also agree that I don't think that it's the answer. Scrooge. What? Can we get a name that doesn't make it sound like we're yes. I'm with you. Like, it's so annoying how good Popper was, though, right? Like, Popper was just such a good name. Oh, I don't know. It's tough. It's funny because it shows how tough it is that we can't do it. Lore Common's not bad. I don't hate that. I don't hate Lore Common. I don't know. It's such a fun subject because it is one of those, like, I like the format a lot. There's actually a tournament for it in my area next Saturday, and I might go to it. I have yet to play the format, if I'm being honest. But there is a tournament for it next Saturday. It's like, I say it's in my area. It's like 2 hours away, but I'm thinking about going. Bolkana, I don't hate this. I don't hate Bolkana. Is interesting. I was actually talking to Popkana. Popkana. I was actually talking to David Nunez this weekend during my free time in between rounds at SSG, and I like the idea of always of any restricted format, but my other problem with it is that like there's so many good cards in the game that are just uncommons anyway, that it feels by only restricting it to commons and uncommons, you actually you take the life away of a lot of, in my opinion, bad rares that would be good in a restrictive format. So I was really trying to figure out a way to be like, hey, can we just actually put a restriction on the cost of a card per deck and then just agree to it and then like build decks for that? Because I really want to play with some bad rares that I just can't play with otherwise. But then, and then like the other option is like, obviously you can make some rule where you're like, oh, rares included, and you can create some long ban list and we can go on like this long tirade about it. But yeah, I don't know. I really just want to play in a restricted format that allows me to play bad rares. But I know that the moment you open this up, you're like, okay, well, there's a lot of good rares in the game. Like all of a sudden, Curse Merfolk is just everywhere and Docs are everywhere. And like that becomes a problem in itself. So that's kind of where it is. But that's why I kind of want it to be, yeah, like, see, this is what I was thinking. I'm thinking like, if we can just make $1 or less format and we just agree to it. And it's like, it's one of those, listen, this is never going to be like some, oh my God, we're going to sign up for a Disney Lorcana challenge playing this format. This would just be like, hey, in-house at your local game store for a day or for like 1 day a month thing that you just kind of agree. And you're like, yeah, like this is what I'm playing. As long, like, listen, if the card spikes to $1.10, it's okay. Like we don't gotta be the side of it. No. See, this is the opposite. We don't want this. This sounds bad. The reason we don't like Porkana and we don't like Street Rat is because it makes it sound like you're just playing with trash. We don't want that. We don't want it to sound like it's playing with trash. All right. We don't understand the Vanish mechanic. All right, we'll get back to this one. I promise. We'll come back full circle. Let me get back to finish these cards. There's only a couple cards left before 11 o'clock. When Humble reveals a card at 11, I believe he's revealing 11. So let's quickly look. We're gonna shout out Mushu real quick. He translated these cards for us. 4-cost Inkable, 1 strength, 6 willpower, Kakamura. Steal with the ability of bragging. Great name. When you have another pirate in play, this character gains Challenger +3. This card's awful. We're not going to play it. Mariano Gunsman, Handsome Suitor. 3-cost Inkable, 3/4 with the ability I See You. While you have a character named Dolores Madrigal in play, this character gains 1 lore. This card's also unplayable. We'll forget it. This is the talk of the town today, right? Glass Slipper. So Glass Slipper is a 2-cost uninkable amber item that has the ability of the perfect pair. You can only have a maximum of 2 copies of Glass Slipper in your deck, and it has the ability search the kingdom, banish this item, and exert this. One of your prince characters. Oh, so it's banish this item and one of your prince characters. Search your deck for a princess character card, reveal it to all players, put it card in your hand, and then shuffle your deck. I think this card is absolutely unplayable. I don't care if you can search your deck for a princess. The flavor is out of this world. I 100% agree, right? GOAT level flavor. No chance we're ever playing this card. Exert one of your prince characters. Oh, okay. Okay. So we exert one. It's not banish. Okay. Exert a prince and then banish the item. I still think this card's unplayable. We're never going to play it ever. And exclamation points for the flavor for sure. But that's it. Now let's talk about a card we might actually play. All right. We might play this card. 4-cost Clarabell News Reporter. She's a Sapphire 4-drop, 3-cost, 3 strength, 3 willpower, 2 lore with support and the ability of Scoop. Your other characters with support gain +1 strength. Okay, so she's a 4-cost 3/3 with 2 lore, right? It's fine. I'll eat it. I will eat my words. I promise. All right. So this card is a 4-cost 3/3 with 2 lore and support. Whatever. Scoop is whatever. What this card enables is having a on-curve body in our Clarabell decks. So before, we kind of had to rely on our 1-cost Clarabell to kind of just like survive a few turns at 2 willpower. So against Amber Steel, it was just almost impossible. It was never going to happen. And then we would end up shifting the following turn. We would play the Clarabell for 1 and then play the bigger Clarabell for 5. So we would shift on 6. This card kind of enables like the normal turn of like, all right, Tipo on 2, this on 3, Clarabell on 5. And that's interesting to me. I don't know for what it's worth. I don't think that you necessarily need it in the particular version of Baja that we've been playing. So I'm not saying like, oh man, this is it. This is going to solve all our problems. I'm not saying that, but it is, I think it's worth a slot. A lot of times when we look at the 4-cost cards in the deck where, we're kind of like competing for one another, it being inkable, also very relevant. I'm a huge Scrooge McDuck fan. I think the 5/5 for 2 lore is out of this world, but this being inkable does help because the deck is a little greedy on uninkables. I think that at one point last week we were at like 17 uninkables and it was ugly. So it needed to go down. But yeah, right. So it keeps hand low. Right. That's also true. Ironically, the idea that everyone plays Grand Matala right now, you were forced to play Grand Matala because you didn't have a choice. This actually doesn't give you a card back. So it ironically just gets you the card back the following turn when it survives. Hard to say though, right? But I do think that it has choices. I think that this gives you like another Clarabell to shift onto, which I think is great. I also think 2 lore is relevant. Like that deck in later the game goes, it doesn't win very quickly. So because it doesn't win very quickly, then you're like, now we have another 4-cost card that later in the game we're like, oh, here's 2 lore, go. I don't know that the Scoop ability will ever be relevant. There has to be like some other reason for Scoop to be relevant. Maybe an Amber Sapphire that becomes more relevant, like with Criminal Minds and Minnie Mouses and stuff. But I think that it's currently I don't really care about that keyword at all. I just care about that she's a 3/3 and that she's 2 lore. I think that's the big deals. I do believe we're gonna have another new card here in a second. But the last one, I think this is the last one in this set. These were all, what were these again? I think this was from the French Discord originally, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong though. 3 cost thinkable, 2 strength, 4 willpower, Amber, Emerald, Doggy. Her name is Peg. The ability is Captive Audience. If you have at least 3 other characters in play, draw a card. I don't think we're ever going to play this one, right? Like, don't we just have better dogs in this? Like, isn't Lucky... Doesn't Lucky cost 4? I don't know. Like, Pongo seems better than this. Lucky seems better than this. I don't think we're going to play this card. All right, so that was all of them. So I think I will try and quickly bring up Humble. I think his card went live at 11. We shall see. We'll take a look together. Let's see. I don't see it just yet. I could be wrong. I thought I was looking at the schedule. Let me confirm. This is why we pin this, so we can go and find it. P.S. If you're not yet, we have all of the reveals coming up. Yeah, so let's see. Take us to here. If it doesn't show you guys, I'll redirect us. It does. All right, so we did get Humble's ability, or Humble's card here. It's giving me a bunch of annoying things. Don't worry. I got you guys. We're coming back. Although it's being annoying. Come on, Instagram. I'm like trying to bring it up and just like, no. It's like, you can't have it. All right, here it is. So shout out to Humble, Team Lab member. He got to reveal Toby. Toby's a 1-cost 3/1 with 1 lore. So it's Felicia. Okay. But it doesn't have Reckless. That's cool. I don't know. Like, if this were inkable, it would be like auto. I think for some of these decks that wouldn't compete. We saw a lot of Felicias this weekend at SSG, and they weren't awful. You know, like Jonathan Williams was playing Felicia. I believe Zan was also playing Felicia on day 2. So this card is uninkable, which is in the end, like, I think that's going to be the reason it doesn't get to see play. But I think that like a 1-cost 3/1 is like, it's not terrible. It really does answer a lot of potential problems. With Vitalosphere, it goes to 5. So, yeah. More dogs. More dog. Where's Toby from? Anyone know? I don't know where Toby's from. Like, what is this character from? Well, we have Moana, right? Like, Moana is kind of the same thing. This obviously does the Great Mouse Detective. Okay. Oh no. I'm getting angry. He's so mad. I'm angering the villain, guys. I'm angering him. It's from the Mouse Detective. He's gonna be so mad at me. What's up, Lurkana villain? So yeah, like Moana is like just a 3/2 inkable, but you have to have a captain or a pirate, right? Or is it both? I can't remember. One of the others that you have to make her be able to challenge. This card just has the choice. Like, for an uninkable, if this is what your deck needs, maybe we'll see some love for it. I think because it's uninkable, it'll likely end up not being good enough, right? Not be good enough. Who knows? But yeah, shout out to Humble. If you haven't yet, go follow him on Twitter, guys, or follow him on Instagram. I will. Let's see if I can share this link directly. Can I share this link directly? No. This is a long link. I don't like it. Can I just share? Where's the share button? There it is. Here it is. Here's the link right to it. Go follow Humble. Go follow Humble. So yeah, let's take a look. I'm gonna go back and show you guys the awesome. This is really cool. I you know, for especially for NA creators, I think this was a big deal for us. NA creators got a lot, and I mean a lot of reveals this time. I think for set 6, North America only got 7 content creators that got a reveal. And I think for set 5, it was only like 8 to 10. So it was very, very low. And this time we got like 25. So it's so awesome. And a lot of these creators, this is their first time ever doing a reveal for the game. That's really awesome. But this is a pin post on our Facebook page. And it shows, I think, everything. It also includes the EU people. I have to go and update it because there was actually more that were revealed. Team Honest still has no reveals. Keep applying. Matchmaker reveal. Was there another reveal that I missed? Maybe Scott got it already. Where's it at? Where is the reveal at? Where can I go find it? You can't link, unfortunately. My chat won't let you. I don't know why. It's mean. I don't know settings. I don't know how to work Twitch. But if you tell me where it is, I can go find it. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, will this be during ICL? During ICL? Huh? Uh-huh. Cinema Comics. Let's see. Morning stream at noon. All right. Morning stream at noon. So I will add one to the list that we have at least. So we can see it. Okay. All right. So the problem is, oh, it's asked me to do stuff. All right. I don't have access. What is going on? Go away. Okay. Here's another one. Unfortunately, I can try and translate this live, but hopefully someone already did it. But it is the Matchmaker. So this is on the Cinemas Cop. I'll drop a link for you guys. No resale on Valentine's Day. That's smart. That's very smart, Wonder. That's very smart. So yeah, the Matchmakers 4 cost 4/3. Whenever this character challenges another character, each opponent loses 1 lore. All right. It's not great. Not well. It's fine, you know. It'll be okay and limited, you know, but that's it. That's it. Yeah, limited strong, right? Like this card's good and limited. It's especially good when behind. I think that'll help a big deal. But yeah. I don't know. That's all. I think that's all the cards today. Maybe I should post this one. I don't know what's going on. I'm getting too many ads on this one, but I'll quickly get out of this. I think that's all the cards for today, though, which is good. Oh yeah, that's right. Decanio is in an hour. That's, I think, only on Twitter, though. I think. So yeah, again, that was like, I don't know. I think on YouTube it said 32 cards, but I'm pretty sure it was over 40 by the time I woke up this morning. And there's just more coming. Yeah, I've heard this too. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it is. Hard to say. I don't know. To me, listen, like we can have announcements, right? But I don't think we're gonna have. I don't think this announcement's like a big announcement because I can't fathom they would just give it to like a random thing on Twitter personally. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. But yeah, like literally, as I was showing the schedule here, it's all day long. It's not going to stop. it's just not going to stop, guys. It's crazy. This week in itself is like today we have 8. Lorcana Man's also at noon. I'm not sure if this is noon EST or not. I think this is noon PST. So this will be at 3 p.m. today. The Hobby Novice got one. The Questing Queen, 4Y Games, Lorcana After Dark tonight. So definitely check that out. Our friends over there with Breezy and stuff like that. And this is just North America. And then if you scroll down, we also have EU that has Lorcana Villains today. What do we do? Where are we at, Lorcana Villain? Are you today? It says you're today. Huh? Is this true? Huh? Podcana and Alphas. So like they're gonna keep coming, guys. Oh, that's the 14th. I can't read. Don't listen to me. There's only one today, and it was the Mojo one. Is this the one we already saw? It does. I can't read, guys. I can't read. I can't read. All right. So, oh, is Mojo? Mojo looks like they were the What are these? Oh, Mojo was the Devil's Eye Diamond. So we already saw the Mojo one. But yeah, lots of this week is going to be actually like absolutely crazy. And then, like I said, this post on here doesn't include a couple other regions. There was more regions that were posted. I got to go back and update this and add them to it. So this week, I think I made a joke. I think it was yesterday. I made a joke. I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna have like 50 to 100 reveals this week. We've had 50 almost in just a day. So I have a feeling we're gonna have like I don't know 150 maybe this week between everything. So we should probably get a lot between now and the 17th. Also today at 1 p.m. I'll share this to the chat just in case you guys aren't in the main Discord. But Disney Lorcana's Discord is having an event today at 1 p.m. I think it's 1 p.m. EST. Let me find it real quick. I'm in too many Discords, guys. But just in case you're not in this Discord, I hope this works. Discord did this new weird update with their invite link, and I don't like it. I'm not a fan. Hopefully that worked. I don't know. That doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, 1 hour and 40. Yeah, that's right. It's 1 hour and 48 minutes. I don't know why. They did this new thing where they're like they don't let you see a link anymore. And I don't know if it's just me, if it's just like my Discord being weird. I don't know. But anyway, the official Disney Lorcana server on Discord that you can just search, like Google it, like Disney Lorcana. For some reason, it just won't let me do it. Is it streamer mode? Okay, let's see. This is why we have the wizard, guys. This is why we have the wizard. I like that though. That's smart. I will turn streamer mode off. I think you're right. Aha, you are correct. Boom. Look at that. This is why we have friends. So yeah, there's the official link to the official Discord. At 1 o'clock today, which what Lorcana Villain is saying is 1 hour and 47 minutes now. From right now, they are doing one of those stage setting, one of those shows, and they're probably going to reveal cards on that too. They might even talk things. I believe today is the art day, right? Yeah, so today they're going to be talking about some of the art. I think this is just I have no idea, literally no clue. I do believe Liam is on from the Illuminateers though. I forget who else is on. I don't remember, but I know Liam is on. I would think it would be a really good opportunity to for them to show the first Enchanted so they have control of it. Normally, if you guys know, a lot of the Enchanteds get leaked and they're not supposed to. So they always get upset about those things. So they might be controlling the narrative this time. So I'm guessing we're going to see at least 1 or 2 Enchanteds in the stream. Don't hold me to it, but that's my guess. But yeah, I think that'll be really cool. So if you're there, if you have time, you want to hang out with that. It's always nice to see community members a part of that. I think Lorcana Villain is at the end of the week. He's hanging out with Steve and them. So it should be fun. Was there a Disney announcement last night or is that today? Was there? I don't know. I thought it was today, right? There's 2 of them, right? There's one today, and then there's one on the 17th, I believe. So I think there's going to be 2 of them this week, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's it's in hold on, let me look at the name. It's the Team Lorcana stage, I believe. That's what they call it, a stage. Go back to streamer mode. I'm getting yelled at. So, yeah, 2 of them. Oh, Lorcana Villain is on today. Okay. I thought you were on Sunday for some reason. Okay. I don't know. It's confusing. Yes, it's in the Discord. It's in their Discord. That's where it's at 1 p.m. today. Look at that. See, even the wizard doesn't know. It's confusing, guys. It's hard to keep track of all this stuff. But yeah, so A lot of cards already. I really do think that we're going to get close to 150 cards this week, which is awesome. They waited so long to just bombard us. And we were talking about this too. I think it's great that we waited till after DLC Melbourne and after South Champs were over. So now we're just like, we're in that period where all we want to do is talk about Set 7. It's the next thing to do. So I think that's really good. I think that's exciting. So it's called a stage because the normal Discord voice channels can only, yes. People, yeah, they can like bring people in into the stage. And I think it's funny though, because it gets difficult because I know like if the stage starts early, if someone shows up late, it's hard. They got to type. It's easiest for them to type in the channel, and then Rochelle will, or whoever is running it, I assume it's going to be Rochelle, I could be wrong, is going to drag them in. But sometimes if the chat's so active, it's really hard to actually target them to drag them into the stage because of how like crazy it gets. But I think the stage has been something they've been working on in Discord for probably about a year now in general. I think it's a good thing though. You were live 24/7 during split. No. I will very likely be back tomorrow morning too. And then Thursday night at 8 p.m. is our reveal. So our reveal will be here and YouTube. And then after our reveal is Lorcana Girl. So we plan on kind of talking through the week of spoilers. It'll be me and Scott to talk, and then I'm going to bring Dick on. And I haven't told them yet, but I'm bringing Melissa and Ben on as well after the fact to kind of just talk about the week, talk about SSG, and really just send praises to them and let them guys tell them their story. SSG was awesome, guys. If you have, like, seriously, make an excuse to go to Miami for one of their upcoming events. Too much fun. But yeah, so for us, 8 p.m. on our channel here, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I got to do that thing. If I don't do the thing, Wonder's going to yell at me. So let me find a friend to share all this love with. Shout out to you guys for being awesome, hanging out with me all day, chatting with me this morning. There's so much to do and so much to look at right now that I just can't get behind me personally sitting down and making like a million slides and like doing this in some type of, I just don't want to do it. So I'm just going to come hang out with you guys like every morning for a couple hours to talk about all the stuff from the previous few days. That's the plan. And it's also a lot of fun right now, like getting to have these conversations with everybody is a lot of fun. Maybe I'll even have a guest one of these days. Maybe I'll bug the Wizard or I'll bug Lorcanaville and hang out and chat, and they'll come hang out with me one of these days. And we can just talk about Lorcana for 2 hours in front of everybody. You could, if you're going to start your stream, we'll just send them right there. Like, we'll just send them right there. You know, we'll just do it like right now. If you're going to get on anyway, and you're going to want to listen to Wonder Talk, yeah, we should. Like maybe on, maybe by the end of the week. Well, you're streaming already at noon on Friday. So maybe next week. I don't know. I have a very low schedule the next 2 weeks, and I just assume there's going to be a million things going on. So my whole plan is just to come on here for 2 hours every morning and hang out and talk. So like anyone, you know, if you want to come on and talk with me for 2 hours, thumbs up. Is the Wizard starting his stream? I'll send them right to him. We all know the Wizard, though. But again, thanks for hanging out today, guys. Bet. See, look, we even have Lorcanaville and saying bet. Thanks for all the followers this morning, guys. Shout out to you guys. Lots of you. You're the best. Thank you for the Twitch sign prob. Also, Hypno or Hypno Rhino or Hip. I don't know how to say your name, but thank you. Very awesome. Very, very much appreciate that. Who are we raiding? Is it going to be the Wizard? We have other friends in chat. We're going to raid one of our other friends. All right. We're going to raid. Oh, you guys don't speak French, probably. I think that's French. I don't want to send you guys to a French because I don't know the answer. Lots of UK people streaming right now. And Spessy is playing Gwent. So that's unhelpful. So there's not really a great person. Who is he now? Yeah, there isn't really anyone to go to right now because the Wizard's not live. I'm live watching you now. True facts. Let's see. Is the Wizard here? I don't see the Wizard. Let's see. Oh, I see the Wizard. I see the Wizard. Let's go knock on the door of the Wizard. Knock. No, I don't want to knock. Take that back. Don't accept my knock. I don't want to do it. Oh, all right. We're already rating, it says. Right now. Thanks everyone for hanging out tonight. We'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. I do appreciate it though.